If you take colour photographs, and I'm sure many of you do, you probably stick them in an album when you finish with them. Maybe you occasionally think to yourself, I'd like to frame that photograph. If so, you can buy frames from the store, and there are many different kinds available, or you can make your own frame out of scraps of cardboard. Here's how you do it. You start by taking a piece of cardboard which is the same size as the photograph you wish to frame. And then you remember in your mind the figure 4 centimetres, because you'll need lots of 4 centimetre strips, 4 in fact. One of them, which should be the same width as the photograph, that's for the bottom of the frame. Another piece, which is the same width as the photograph for the top of the frame, and then 2 pieces the same height as the photograph for the left and the right-hand sides. That's the basis of the frame, what you see in front of you. But before you start sticking the bits together, you need to do 2 more things, and one of them is to mark out parallel lines on those pieces. You'll notice from those lines there that there are wide and narrow spaces. I've ruled them in such a way that that first space is 1 centimetre wide, then half a centimetre, 1 centimetre, half a centimetre, and 1 centimetre again. And each piece is ruled in exactly the same way. But one more thing remains to be done, and that is to cut some angles on the edges. Now, to do this, you need to take your ruler and to measure in from the edge 2.5 centimetres. 2.5 centimetres back, put a dot there. And do the same thing down the bottom. 2.5 centimetres back and put a dot there. And then you'll carefully rule a line from that point to that point, and from that point to that point over there. Just showing you roughly where those lines will go. They'll be in those positions there. Well, here's one that's already been ruled carefully and cut. You can see that it makes an angle like that. And you need to use that one piece, the first piece you rule and cut, as a pattern for the other 3 pieces. So you can stack them together. There's the long piece and the 2 short pieces. Make sure they're lined up carefully, and then place the pattern or the template over the top of it. Take your scissors and carefully cut through the other pieces. In that way, turn it over and cut it there. And then do the same thing at the other end. Stack the 3 new pieces to be cut together like that, and then place your template, the first piece that you cut, over the top, and cut those. Now comes the folding. You're going to fold it in such a way that the lines are always on the inside, and you simply fold along the lines. So there's one fold there, and then a second fold, not far away from the first one. Turn the whole thing over and start from the other side. One fold, and then a second fold. And if you've ruled your lines correctly and measured the angles accurately, you'll find that that little piece will fold up into the edge of a frame. There it is there. It looks a bit like the edge of a real frame, doesn't it? Now, one thing remains to be done, and that is to stick your 4 edges on the piece of flat cardboard. I've already done that. Can you see that? Just a strip of sticky tape along there, there, and there, and that's your frame. Now, to insert the photograph, you simply unfold the top piece like so, slip your photograph down inside like this, and if you've cut it accurately, you'll find that that'll slide down snugly, fit in position, and then you fold that top piece back over, straighten them all up, and if you want it to stand up on the mantelpiece, just place a piece of cardboard on the back like so, and you'll find that that will stand proudly among the professionally framed photographs. And now here's a real picture framer in action.